everyone. In this video, lesson 7.3, we're going to be looking at some more applications of the derivative, especially around max and min type problems. Today we're going to be looking at three things: marginal cost, marginal revenue, marginal profit. So we need to put our business hats on for this video and think about how do companies determine the price of a product they sell. So what do companies do when they have a new product they want to sell and they want to figure out the price? And you can brainstorm some of these things. As I think about some of these things, I think about perhaps how much it costs to make the product. I think about how much it costs to ship the product. Maybe if you want to advertise the product, you have to factor that cost into your selling price of a product. You have labor involved with making a product. You also have labor involved with selling a product. If you want to sell this product in a store, you have to rent the store. If you're renting a store, you have overhead. Sometimes also profit is a big factor, so how much profit you want to make. And we could keep doing this over and over and over and refining all of these items on our list. And this is what businesses do every day, because what businesses want to do is maximize their profit while at the same time minimizing their costs. Define just a few words in case your business skills are a little rusty. Cost of a product typically is what you as a business would pay to make a product. Revenue is what you as a business earn from the sales of your product. And profit is your revenue minus the cost. So we have cost, revenue, and profit, and we can model these things with equations. So cost, typically we'll call that C of X. Revenue we'll call R of X. Profit we'll call P of X. If we can model these things with equations, we can also take the derivative of these equations. So C primed of X, R primed of X, or P primed of X. And these derivatives all have special names. The derivative of cost is the marginal cost. Derivative of revenue is marginal revenue. And the derivative of profit is marginal profit. Cost is in dollars per item made. Marginal cost is in dollars per items made. Marginal revenue is dollars per item sold. marginal profit also dollars per items sold. If we're dealing with derivatives, then these three derivative equations would also be considered instantaneous. So you might see it referred to as instantaneous cost, instantaneous revenue, or instantaneous profit. So let's look at an example of using instantaneous cost, instantaneous revenue, and instantaneous profit. I have decided to run a coffee shack, and I have determined my equations for my revenue and my cost. And let's say that I sell 300,000 cups of coffee. We want to use this information to find these items. So for part A, if we're looking for the revenue when we sell 300,000 cups of coffee, that's as simple as subbing in 300,000 for X. And we can evaluate that on our calculator. So 800,000 times 300,000 minus 300,000 all divided by 200,000 gives me a revenue of $750,000. Part B, if we want to find the marginal revenue, well, we're going to take that revenue function, and I'm just going to alter it slightly, breaking up the two terms to make the derivative a little bit easier. So my derivative, r primed of x, becomes 800,000 over 200,000, which is just 4, minus 2x over 200,000, which simplifies to 4 minus x over 100,000. And now if I'm solving for the marginal revenue, sub in 300,000 for x, and I end up with a marginal revenue of 1. So let's talk about what this means, the difference in words between A and B. So part A, I found how much money I make, the revenue, when 300,000 units or cups of coffee are sold. So when I sell 300,000 cups of coffee, I get in my cash register $750,000. In B, I found the instantaneous change of revenue. I found how revenue is changing when I sell 300,000 units or 300,000 cups of coffee. So in part A, I found a number, a value. In part B, I found a rate of change. So when I sell 300,000 cups of coffee, I'm expecting to see a change in revenue of $1 per unit. Okay, let's go on to part D. We're finding the cost when we sell 300,000 units. Again, we're subbing in 300,000 for X, and I get 251,000 as my cost. Part E is asking us to find the marginal cost. So we're finding C primed of X. So we take the derivative of cost, and my derivative of cost is constant. So when I find the marginal cost at 300,000 units, it's still 42.42 or 42 cents. So again, to answer part F, in part D, I found the cost of selling 300,000 units. In part E, I found how quickly the cost is changing when I sell 300,000 units. Now in this example, it doesn't matter for cost how many units I sell. My cost always changes by 42 cents a unit. So we can look at this equation and really break it down. I have a fixed cost of $125,000. This is likely my cost of renting my space, or perhaps my cost of labor. And then I have my variable cost, 42 cents per cup. And that's likely my cost of supplies, or the cost of making the cup of coffee. Lastly, profit. Profit is equal to revenue minus cost. For finding profit at 300,000 units, well, that's going to be equal to the revenue at 300,000 units minus the cost at 300,000 units, and we've already solved for those numbers. So our revenue at 300,000 units was $75,000. From that, we're going to subtract the cost of 300,000 units, $251,000, which works out to a profit of almost $500,000. $499,000 is our profit. Marginal profit means find the derivative of the profit function, which would be equal to the derivative of the revenue function minus the derivative of the cost function. The derivative of the revenue function was 4 minus x over 100,000. The derivative of the cost function was 0.42. If we're finding the marginal profit at 300,000 units, we're finding the marginal revenue minus the marginal cost at 300,000 units. that worked out to $1 minus 42 cents, or 0.58. So our marginal profit at 300,000 units is 58 cents. And again, the difference in G, we found the profit at 300,000 units. In part H, we found how quickly profit is changing. If you're a business person and you look at this number, it's positive, which means as you sell more units, your profit is still increasing, which is a good thing. So in class tomorrow, there'll be more opportunities for you to practice some marginal cost and marginal revenue, marginal profit questions. Thanks for watching.